Hi, I am Nick Shell. I am a certified Enneagram coach, and I'm going to be referencing this book today, The Honest Enneagram by Sarah Jane Case. If you want to buy this on Amazon, I'll make it really easy. Just check the link right there. It takes you straight to Amazon. You'll probably pay less for it than I did, and that's okay. I'm happy for you. Now, if you're new to Enneagram or you're confused, frustrated because you can't figure out which one you are, I can help you out there by you clicking that link. You'll see where you can take an Enneagram test. It takes about 10 minutes. It's free. And it'll help give you some direction on which one you might be so that a lot of what I'm saying in these videos makes sense. And then lastly, there have been 4 people so far since I have been doing this Enneagram channel who actually became certified for Enneagram through Cloverleaf, as I have, simply by clicking the link below. That's pretty cool. I love the fact that I'm able to recruit other people to, be as heavy into Enneagram as I am. So this particular video, what I want to address is, if you're a 6 like me, and let's break it down. I am truly a 6, but I don't act like it and I don't look like it, but I think like it. So ultimately I'm a 6-wing 7. I am the sexual subtype, and specifically I'm counterphobic. So I don't necessarily express my fears out loud, but I'm always reacting in a way to prepare for something to go wrong or to appear like I'm not afraid or threatened. So that's ultimately, think about Robert De Niro in any single movie he ever did. Even on Meet the Parents, when he's talking about the circle of trust. Who can you trust? You're building this network of people that you can depend on, that you can protect, and they can protect you, that sort of thing. That's what a counterphobic 6 is all about. But also 6s in general are all focused on, a lot of times, they're funny. When you look at comedians, a lot of comedians are either 6s or 7s. I'll give you some examples of who I perceive as 6s. Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, Sebastian Maniscalco, all of them. If you look at their material, there's almost this nervous energy that they're looking for what could go wrong, or they're observing and they're kind of making fun of it in a silly way. That's a lot of the concept of what the funny side of 6 looks like. So I want to give you a few examples of what a 6's humor looks like. A 6's humor is usually more so in the forms of observational humor, like even Jerry Seinfeld. I'm convinced he's the same as me. My wife said that after we watched his last stand-up comedy on Netflix. She says he's exactly like you. He's actually this very serious guy, but he can be funny and free-spirited. But ultimately, he's always analyzing all this stuff. Yeah, the overthinker. There's a lot of that going on. 6s have a 5-wing. So I'll give you an example of some humor of a 6. It often comes in the form of either a quick quip or some kind of story where they're explaining how weird these people are doing this weird thing, and then they're trying to think through it logically, and it doesn't make sense, and that becomes funny. A lot of Sebastian Maniscalco is that way, but I want to give you an example of a quip. So last week I was in a social circle where there was this guy and his baby just had a wife. So someone is asking in this group, "Hey, how's the baby doing?" To which the husband replies, "Baby's doing great, eating well, drinking well, pooping well, cries a bit, but pretty good situation." To which another 6 in the group quipped, and they said, "Well, that's great, but how's the baby doing?" Get it? Because, they were implying that the pooping and the crying and all that was really about him. That's funny. It's just a few words too. "That's great, but how's the baby doing?" I took down a few notes yesterday. So for example, this week I joined this men's fitness group, and I'm going to be talking about this a lot, but ultimately, usually I'm kind of middle of the road for anything. Even if I project that I'm better than I am, I'm usually just middle of the road. And I'm learning now as a 6 to use this to my advantage. That while a counterphobic 6 often projects that they're greater than they are, probably what would help me in life is if I make fun of myself more. So I want to give you an example. I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget it. So yesterday in this men's group, there was like 20 of us, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. And it's like this boot camp outside in a parking lot and in a field. And I am at the gym 6 days a week. I am walking 2 miles a day. That's what I've been doing for a long time. But I'd never done a boot camp like this for an hour long. It was pretty intense, very military style. I'm just trying to hold my own, just trying to stay kind of middle of the group and not stand out as the best or the worst. And so I had several, and I'm new to this group. This is the first time a lot of them ever had seen me, heard of me, met me. And I had other guys, individual bases, would say, "Hey man, you're doing a good job out here. You're holding your own." To which I would respond, quote, well, I'm glad I can make it look that way. See, that's a quick quip, and it's self-deprecating. A lot of sixes have self-deprecating humor, and especially, again, for me as this transitioning six that I want to make it look like I'm not afraid all the time, ultimately, that if I'm making fun of myself, that makes other people feel good about themselves. So I'm taking the compliment, and I accept it, but I'm also saying, well, I did a good job making it look like I did a good job. That's funny, and it puts everybody at ease. Another example that this is really funny too. So we were doing this one exercise where we had to like run down a hill, go back up, do all these push-ups, go back down the hill. So about the fifth time getting to the bottom of the hill, and then you had to get down and do push-ups, the guy next to me said something about, it's starting to smell like methane. You know, like somebody farted, right? To which I immediately said, well, safety in numbers, as to imply, hey, I'm farting too. That's funny. But it's still self-deprecating because I'm openly admitting to farting, even if I wasn't. And I'm still leaving that up to you. Did I? Who knows? Who cares? It's funny because I took that comment and I added to it. I made it about myself, but in a way that kind of humbled myself. And that's often the best kind of humor that you could have because it makes people feel comfortable. And at the core, what do sixes really want? They want security. Specifically, unless you're a self-preservation six, usually social sixes like my wife, or even for me, the sexual six. What are we doing? What are we doing? We are looking to build a network of people that make us feel secure. And we're just there with you too. We're all special in our own ways, but ultimately, we want to see variety in there. We want to know that ultimately we're all just people trying to figure this out. And that is that sense of security. So I think when I was newer to Enneagram, I misunderstood what sixes were. I was thinking that sixes were more about like, oh no, there's a storm coming. Oh no, what's gonna happen with the economy? Let me watch the news all the time. And see, I'm not that way at all. But again, I'm counterphobic, so I don't watch the news. I don't keep up with any of that stuff. It's all about not being scared and not being afraid and that sort of thing. But still, what is my ultimate motivation is about feeling secure in my social circles. So my own family, people that I work with, my friend group. I'm the kind of person who I talk to strangers. I've always done that. And I think now it's probably because I'm always wanting to build my network stronger. And I'm wanting to meet new people that I can add to my network. And at the same time, I'm always reaching back to people I've known from childhood and trying to reconnect with them. So anytime I go back home where I'm from, if I happen to see somebody I haven't seen in a while, like last week I was there, my childhood friend, I met up with him. We now got his number. Next time I see him, we're planning to drive Jeeps together. That's ultimately my version of it. Now, granted, you may be a different subtype or even a different wing, but I imagine you can still relate to something I'm saying. Thank you so much for watching this video. Your comments belong right here.